I'm David Weekley, inviting you to hop in and come along. I'm on my way to an antique and classic car show at the East Lake Mall in Tampa.
Cut it.
Maybe I'm not.
Cut it, David.
I'm on my way to an antique and classic car show at East Lake Mall in Tampa.
Kill it. Hold it from there. David.
Triple A! Triple A!
Hold it. Now, you got to put your foot down on it. Kill it.
Maybe I'm not on my way.
David, how the hell are you doing? We'll do it when it started.
I just didn't like
Don't. Come on out.
Hello, I'm Bob Chase. And this is... What? Hello, I'm Bob Chase. This is St. Louis County Hospital. Last week there was a story concerning this hospital and another one, and a patient whose leg was Cut.
Underlies the various approaches to treating a mental patient.
This is St. Louis County Hospital. Last week there was a story about an auto accident victim whose leg was amputated at this hospital. Amidst reports that he was refused treatment at another hospital because he couldn't prove that he could pay the bill. How could it happen? What about emergency health care facilities?
What else am I supposed to say?
Do you have another caller? You're on the air with your question.
Hello?
You're on the air with your question.
Hello? Fuck you.
Okay, I want to get back about the siblings. And I know that both of us, well, Special School District and...
Good evening. I'm Steve Vossmeyer. Jesus Christ.
Seems that Zoo Camp has been a really good... Cut it. The wildlife here at Busch Gardens. For Channel 16's Weekend, I'm Brenda Ledin.
And, but we had a little band played after football games and what have you, and dances. Somebody stole the trumpet that day, and I had to make a gig that night. There were no more trumpets. Trumpet's a very popular instrument. Cornet is not. What is that?
There's something sneezing under the bar.
Oh.
Just don't pay any attention to it.
Can the camera get down there?
Yeah. I think, yep, there it is.
Yeah.
It's one of our trained technicians here at Channel 16. And, guys, I told you earlier that this is nothing but Hollywood, you know? I mean, this is purely a Hollywood production.
That was my first.
What's that come from, a Thad Jones chart?
Yes.
With the eyes going
hey,
with it?
That's the way he writes.
I know it.
That's the way he writes. I love the man.
You know, one of my favorite albums, incidentally, is Portuguese Soul.
That was it.
And,
okay. Thad and I conglomerated.
You conglomerated?
Oh, we conglomerated.
Yeah, I'm hip to that.
And the material was a velvet velour. Yes.
Yes.
So.
What is this? Unfortunately, why am I in the middle?
No.
You know, you're talking across me, and you've been eating garlic.
I'm moving over. I have not been eating garlic. I've been eating salmon croquettes and grits.
Garlic. Somebody's been eating garlic, and you're talking across me now. If you want to talk, why don't you get together and sit in the middle? Because what Jimmy Smith did with the organ at that time really is not very important. It's what I did with the cornet for the rest of my life.
I was getting to that.
But don't get to that. Don't get to that now. Now we got to talk about the Bucks.
Hello.
See, you can't go from one thing to the other without
of course
a break.
not. Of course
this
not.
is intermission.
We do these smooth segues like you've showed us.
Go back to Jimmy.
Hello. Nat Adderley, ladies and gentlemen, Nat Adderley.
Let's talk about Jimmy Smith.
Let's talk about technique. We were on organ technique a second ago. You're working on something now called subtoning. Is that correct?
Did I talk to you before?
No.
So you heard it somewhere.
I hear everything. I
You
hear
do?
and see it all.
Well, see if you can hear this. Yeah, it's the same thing.
You're making my job of editing this real hard.
That's right.
Television news today. Is it getting better? Is it getting worse?
Since I came into the business, it's getting much better. I think it made a rapid improvement when Bob Hite
Playboy Club
joined
opens.
the airwaves.
Well, I think it did too, Bob. And
Oh, shucks.
when you see my application in the mail, I'm sure you'll take that into consideration.
Okay, buddy.
How'd you get started in the business of reporting news?
I grew up in the business. My father was in the business. My mother was in the business. My grandparents before them. My father was one of the guys at WXYZ in Detroit who used to say, "A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a mighty Hi-Yo Silver, the Lone Ranger." Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear, when the Lone Ranger and his faithful Indian companion Tonto rode the plains of the Old West in search of law and order. Very good.
What's the worst thing that's ever happened to Bob Hite on the air?
I think this interview is probably
It's right
the
up
worst thing that's ever happened to me. Haven't been interviewed that many times, of course. Usually I am the interviewer as opposed to the interviewee. But this guy, this is
Well, I guess the shoe's on the other hand now, isn't it, Bob?
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable too, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not used to
As it
being
should
asked
be.
questions.
As it should be.
Another
Well-
Mike Wallace, a budding Mike Wallace here.
Shucks. Well, again, Hugh, just let me say what a pleasure it's been Oh, my mistake, Bob. I really am sorry about that.
And as winter storms give way to tornadoes and tornadoes to hurricanes, we can all breathe a little bit easier knowing that we'll... Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. And as winter storms give way to tornadoes and tornadoes to hurricanes, we can all breathe a little bit easier knowing that we'll be more prepared for them. Forget it. I'm sorry. I don't like that.
Again to all our stars and to all our girls. Cause we know that they were all
It's supper, supper, super, supper, supper, super pepper upper, supper, super duper supper, dupper, 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 dupper. Hey,
Hey, Snoopy, what's going on? Aren't you going to eat your supper?
hey!
Jack, you're spilling it all over! Now cut it out! Why can't you eat your meals calmly and quietly, like any other normal dog?
Well, if I could get unattached from the doghouse, I would. What's wrong with making supper time a joyous occasion?
Betty Kornfeld and Owen Edwards know what they like, and they've turned that knowledge into a surprising bit of literature called Quintessence. Quintessence judges those something specials, those places special, the somebody specials, the things you've grown up with that you've taken for granted, that have that certain special something called quintessence. Owen, how do you know when something is quintessential?
Are we on now?
I sure as hell hope not.
As soon as we found that infestation, the Department of Agriculture moved in to contain it, quarantine, begin the destruction, and then to start investigating all of the nurseries to which materials from that first